We have to identify our critical data via our workshops. We process according to the risk assessment, and the FDA recommends developing a plan covering the types, frequency and intensity of clinical study monitoring. So we have to say what we're going to do and when, and justify how we're going to do it. The monitoring plans include such things as a description of the approaches, what our communication plans are, how we communicated monitoring results, how do we manage non-compliance, and how do we amend our monitoring plan. All this has to be documented in the monitoring plan. And documentation procedures for monitoring plans should also be established according to the guidance. So we need to ensure, I guess it's like every other process, we have to ensure we have documentation to support it and justify. A sponsor's monitoring activities should focus on the critical measures and also preventing important and likely sources of error. When devising the monitoring plan, we have to make sure we do our risk assessments, and we have to look at the impact and likelihood of the error and the extent to which the error would be detectable. Jane's already introduced the idea of impact, likelihood, and also on detectability. These are the things we must think about when we put our monitoring plan together, because as Jane says, we cannot mitigate for every single risk. So what does the monitoring plan contain? We have to say what type of visits and the justification for them. We have to say what standard operating procedures we're following, the frequency of monitoring, the monitoring's capacity, the number of sites per monitor. Are we visiting any ancillary departments? What's the data we have to review? We need to know what the conditions for unblinding are, what the expectations for the availability of the principal investigator during visits. This is often a problem in clinical trials, where what I call the absentee PI. We have to ensure now, if we are adopting a risk-based approach, that we do get to see the PI when we go to attend an on-site visit. The monitoring plan should also outline how non-compliance will be recorded and circulated. How are we going to have oversight of the investigator site file or pharmacy file? And this is where the concept of maybe self-checklist completed by the site to tell us what's in their investigator site file. We also got an escalation process. We look at our key risk indicators. When we exceed what we think is acceptable, then this maybe should trigger or escalate to an on-site visit. But even then, we need to know how unresolved issues are going to be dealt with. The monitoring plan should also detail how we manage our supplies, how we report serious adverse events, and how we monitor SAEs. And we also have to have query management, data queries, protocol queries, medical monitors, and all about IMP management.
Will be responsible for your payment or not?
IMP management. We also have in the monitoring plan the documentation and review of monitoring activities, the type and format of reports, how are our monitoring reports going to look, what are the centralized monitoring outputs and statistical monitoring methods, what their outputs going to be like, how are they going to be presented for review. We also need responsibility and timelines for preparing and reviewing of the reports. One of the biggest things we need to have in the monitoring plan is the training of the monitors. Training in the study protocol and therapeutic area, but also training, and this sounds kind of a little silly in isolation, but it's more like retraining of monitors to stop them doing 100% source data verification. When that large pharmaceutical company did that exercise, I was brought in to help retrain the monitors to stop them doing 100% SDV. Now you would think that would be an easy thing to do. It wasn't. It was very, very difficult to get the monitors to stop doing 100% STV. I think it was because they thought that if an auditor or an inspector came in and found something they'd missed, that they would have an issue. It took an awful lot of persuading and examples to stop them doing it. And I have to admit, I met someone from the company not that long ago, and she still admits to me that she still cannot stop doing 100% STV. So training of monitors, not just in the protocol and therapeutic areas, but also in the actual requirements of the protocol, is vital in a risk-based plan and should be identified in the monitoring plan. We also have to think about core monitoring and handover procedures when study monitors change.